Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Life Between All or Nothing, the podcast that's about changing your life. No matter what point you're at, where you've been, or where you want to go, it's always time to change. Mary Kay, how are you? Beautiful as always tonight.
Ooh, thank you, handsome. I'm doing well, thanks. How are you doing?
I'm good. This is one of those weeks when I thought it was Friday by Tuesday.
Yeah,
It was, you know what I mean?
surprise.
It's like Tuesday afternoon, I felt like it was Friday. And then Wednesday afternoon, it felt like it was Friday. And then today, I just gave up and figured we're never going to be at Friday.
Oh,
But tomorrow's Friday.
tomorrow's Friday. Tonight is Friday Junior, so it counts.
Yeah,
Friday Junior.
don't you have a term for Thursdays?
No, I have a term for Fridays.
Oh, for Fridays. Yeah, okay. We'll stick with TGIF. Thank God it's
We'll
Friday.
stick with that. Yeah. It's
There's other
clean.
ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or we can say, hey, there we go. But yes, I hope everybody's having a great week. We had a great show last week. This is episode number 3 of our second season. We had a great show the first week with Lynn, and then last week with Kellen. Wow, what a beautiful spirit she is, right?
Yeah. Oh my God, that was. Yeah, I couldn't wait to message her afterwards, like the next day.
Yeah.
And then I went looking for her book, and anyway, so I can't wait to read her book, and I'm excited.
Yeah.
So definitely we've got to bring her back too. I think yeah, she really brought some things to life, and I loved her story, and I loved her rescue, and her all the spirit behind the dog rescue that she does, matching up senior pugs
Oh,
to
yeah.
senior citizens. Like that just melted my heart.
Just a demonstration of her beautiful spirit.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I'm just going to encourage everybody one more time. We want to definitely, the people we bring on are people that we believe in and that we have that we like to follow and help. Go to Amazon, get the book. It's Kellen Ann is the author. The book is Wagmore, Lessons I've Learned from My Grumble, which is
Yeah.
the group of dogs, and it's just life lessons I've learned from my Grumble. Great book. Please pick it up and support people who are out there trying to make a difference. Speaking of people who make a
Yeah.
difference in this world, there's our man Chris Roush.
Ooh.
He's calling us rock stars, and he says Thirsty Thursdays.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sober, brother. I'm thirsty every freaking day. All right,
I've got
I don't
tea.
drink anymore.
I'm in my
Coffee.
my Be Happy mug. I've got
See,
tea.
that's my thing. I got coffee Mondays, coffee Tuesdays, coffee Wednesdays.
Mm-hmm.
You get where I'm going with this.
Mm-hmm.
And
You like
speaking
coffee?
speaking of beautiful people, Lynn Serrano is with
Hi,
us. Hey,
Lynn.
Lynn. She has, I'm not even sure how to figure out all the things she's doing other than maybe just follow her on Facebook.
Yeah.
And try to keep up with all the shows she's doing and all the different projects she has going on. And another spirit that is worth following in this world. There's
Definitely.
there's a lot of bad things going on out there. I want to just lead off today before we get started. I'm watching the news, and we got Trump being indicted. We got the Republicans and Democrats both screwing up in the United States. They're shutting the country down because they can't agree on a budget, which means our military, our armed forces, the guys with the guns in their hands protecting our country, do not get paid. They will not get paid, but our senators and congressmen, their pay is guaranteed. They're all going to shut down and go home. They get guaranteed pay, guaranteed health benefits for life. And they will screw around with the budget so that these guys, the regular workers out there, are not going to get paid. It is ridiculous. It's a mess. You can't trust anybody. So when you find good people, when you find people like Lynn, like Chris, hopefully people like Mary Kay and myself, hopefully that this is the kind of thing that you want to follow. Things about improving yourself. Because I'm going to tell you what, electing a new president, it may help a little. But what really helps is the difference that you make in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
The difference that you make in your family, what you teach your children and what you pass on. That's how the world's going to change. The world isn't going to change because we elect one person. Truth is, the president doesn't have that much freaking power anyway. The world is going to change because of what we do in our houses, in our workplaces, and on the streets and sharing kind words instead of flipping people the finger. That's how the world's going to change. And so please join us. And if you want to be part of the change, then what was it that Gandhi said? Be the change you want to see in the world. Yeah. Be the change. And that's what we like to talk about, right, Mary Kay? I'm done preaching. No more soapbox. That's right. No more soapbox.
It's okay, Scott. This is our show. You can do whatever you want. And, it's not just in the US that you're having that circus going on. We've got our own circus here in Canada, right? So we've got our own stuff going on. There was a mishap this week or last week. I wasn't really paying that much attention, but there was some mishap in our House of Commons where they celebrated somebody who was involved in Nazi crimes or whatever by mistake, because they didn't do a background check on the guy. So here they are celebrating him. Oh, man. And now the Prime Minister has to apologize, and I think he did today. Actually, I didn't read it. So there's lots of things that are going on. It's not just in the U.S.
Oops, we just gave Charlie Manson the key to the city.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody should have looked it up, huh? The swastika on the forehead. Didn't give it away? Come on.
Yeah, it's a little crazy. And it was while the president of the Ukraine, I think it was the Ukraine, was visiting. So a little lapse in some background control processes, I think. They need a process improvement person like me.
That's what they need a human being checker, because we checked out of the human race and we moved into all these other categories of life, but we forgot to stay in the human race and take care of the human race. Chris says, I cannot watch the news. It makes me nauseous. I agree. Lynn says, amen. Change begins with me / us.
Us.
Yes. Yep. Okay. So we're all on the same page. This is where change happens. And the beautiful thing is change can happen at any time, no matter what situation you're in. I was thinking about it today. Some of the people that we celebrate the most aren't people that were born into a beautiful life, but people who have gone through hard times. We look at people like Malcolm X, who was, a seriously important dude. I can't believe my battery's going to die. Oh my God! I have to do a switcheroo in a second here. We're gonna do a little switcheroo while we're live.
I love it.
Sucker was plugged in all night. I don't know what happened. All right.
Oh no.
He went to prison to find his heart, his soul, and came out and made a difference in the world. It's just really cool stuff. But what are we talking about today, Mary Kay? You came up with a great topic.
We're talking about We're talking about authenticity today, because it's been the buzz for the last few years all over social media. Everyone's talking about being authentic, including myself. Like, I talk about being authentic. I have a little bit of a different opinion, or I have a different version, I guess, of authenticity than I think a lot of people have. So authenticity is our topic.
That is a good topic. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah.
Okay, because I had to switch from the headset in the microphone.
Beautiful paintings.
So I can plug in my machine here.
Wow, you're very adept at these switcheroonies. That's good.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm actually wondering if the other end is plugged into the wall or not.
Probably not.
Oh, no, it is. Okay. So we're good. As long as we're not getting echo and everything sounds good, then we're fine.
Yeah, no, it sounds great. Great on my end. Yeah.
So authenticity. Am I wrong, or is this something that's I don't remember people talking about this when I was young. It was almost like we didn't even, it's kind of a new thing in our culture. Is it a fad? Maybe it was called something else before.
It was called something else before. It was called being yourself, right? You're going to go to an interview, be yourself. You're going to go on a first date, be yourself. That's the advice we used to get. Although sometimes we don't always mean the same thing when we say be yourself. or be authentic.
Okay, well, that's interesting. Where do you think is the breakdown in translation on that? Because it seems like be yourself should be a relatively simple idea. It seems
So
like it. On
it seems
paper,
like
it's
it.
easy.
Unless you're a jerk, right? Like, do you really want somebody to show up and be a jerk? If that's what they authentically are, that's their thing. No, you don't. There's a balance. There's two extremes, right? There's being that complete, and I hesitate to use the word narcissism, but that's what comes to my head right now.
Right.
Narcissist on one end, where you are authentically you and you don't give a crap about anybody else or society or norms, whatever. Then on the other end, it's a phoniness, right? So either you're completely authentic, which means you might throw a temper tantrum at any moment, for some people, or you're pretending to be somebody else. So for me, there is some balance, like on that spectrum of
Yeah,
authenticity.
I agree. I like that a lot. Also, something to take note of is being authentic does not mean being arrogant or being hurtful.
Right. Exactly.
Somewhere along the line, people came up with this idea of brutal honesty. It's
Mm-hmm.
brutal honesty. There's no such thing as brutal honesty. There's honesty and there's brutality. You're either being mean or you're being honest. You can be honest without being mean. If you add the brutality in there, it's because you want to be mean. So don't do it. And also, that's part of that with authentic. I can be my authentic self without making people feel bad or without plowing over people. I'm just being me. Screw you. Get out of my way. Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's where people take it now is they believe because they're being authentic and true to themselves, they get to plow people over. There has to be balance and kindness in that as well, because even if I am being my authentic self, I should always aspire to be a better version of my authentic self as well, right?
Exactly. That's you. I mean, I honestly couldn't have said it better. You totally articulated my thoughts, because I think people take authenticity and then they can do, my opinion again, one of two things. They can, and Christopher Rausch is going to love this because he is the no excuses coach.
He's with us so far. He says, so true. I'm lovingly honest and direct, but polite.
Yep, exactly.
No, that's good.
So yeah, people can use it in different ways, right? So they can use authenticity. They can wear it because then they don't have to change. That's one way they can use it, saying, no, I am who I am. Or, like, along the same patterns, they can use it as an excuse, right? I am who I am, so I don't need to change. I don't need to grow. I've been this way for, I don't know, 40 years. And so I think it can be a barrier to personal and even professional growth. I think it can be a barrier if you take it literally. I think it can be, there's more to it, as we've already talked about.
Well, there should always be an aspiration to move into transcend. One of the things that I do in my daily practice is to evaluate my day at the end of every day before my head hits the pillow. I take a few moments and do a quick review. And some people call it taking a personal inventory. Some people call it different things. But basically, it's just me simply saying, okay, I had a great day. How can I improve on that tomorrow? How can I do something a little bit better tomorrow? I don't have to pass myself by leaps and bounds. But my idea of success is to wake up in the morning and look forward to a day where I can make a difference and make a little bit of a change and do something better than I did yesterday. We've got a comment here from Nadia.
Nadia!
She says, people say brutally honest because people can't handle the truth. I love this comment. You know what? I love that. I love that she said that, because this might ruffle some feathers. There is no universal truth. Truth is based on our perspective. My truth is not your truth. Now, I can live in my truth, but for me to believe that you have to be in my truth as well is arrogant. So when I say people can't handle the truth, maybe they can't handle my truth because maybe my truth is bullshit. I don't know. What I believed yesterday, I don't believe today. And what I believe tomorrow won't be what I believe today. And what I'm going to believe next week, it's always changing. And it's our perspective and everything. You know, for me to assign people that they have to understand my truth. I mean, in my truth, I don't believe killing people is right. I think it's wrong. I think it's bad. However, if somebody breaks into my house and threatens my child and I kill them, okay, well, there's a circumstance that's okay. I'm still not happy about it, but I'm in war. Okay, I'm in war. So truth, there's no universal because it changes with our perspectives on where we're at and what's going on with us. So basically, all I'm doing is if I'm trying to hit people over the head with the truth, is I'm trying to beat them down with my opinion. It's my opinion. I think there's probably one great being in the universe that knows the truth. I have not met him yet, and I am looking forward to meeting him. Not quite yet, because I still got some shit to make up for.
I was just going to say.
I'm not quite ready yet. Just be true self, 100% congruency.
Congruency, yeah, that's a great word.
Blaming our behavior on our nature doesn't change nature or the
Ooh,
nature of the behavior.
That's a beautiful phrase, Nadia. I love it. We're going to quote you.
Blaming our behavior on our nature doesn't change nature of our behavior.
Yeah.
I love that.
Me too.
Do you know this Nadia person?
No, that was the Nadia that was on our show. That's the same Nadia.
Oh,
it's the same.
Oh.
Yes.
She says,
it's not her quote.
It's not my quote.
I love it.
So many people say, well, I'm just a bitch. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Or that's just the way I am. And I'm going to argue, sorry, that's the way you choose to be. That's the way you choose to be.
And I think that's a really good point because, yeah, we all have things and situations and, I saw another comment pop up.
Oh, she just said, but I'm still cool.
But I'm still cool. Yeah, you are cool. She's amazing. If you're not following her, follow her on TikTok.
Yeah.
Self-love diva. Follow her. And if I got that wrong, Nadia, please put it in the comments. I love her lives on Instagram as well.
So this has taken our conversation in a whole kind of direction with authenticity. Sometimes people use it as an excuse to do whatever the hell they want to do.
Or not do.
The hell they want to say.
Or not do, right?
Or not do. Yes.
They want to dig their heels in. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. I hear that a lot. And I mean, it's part of, people say they have a growth mindset, but then they act like that, which shows they have a fixed mindset, right? They're not interested in growth.
Yeah.
They're not interested in a world beyond their beliefs, right? We all have a set of beliefs. But like you said earlier, it's our version of the truth. And we can seek other information to change those beliefs if they serve us, right? Serve us, serve others. And excuse me, going back to, I think we brought this up in one of our season 1 shows. It goes back to self-awareness. Like, you need to know yourself so that you can be your best self. One of the things I remember is we talk about, that's life. And in French, there's that phrase, c'est la vie. So V-I-E. Know yourself. What are your values? What are your interests? What are your experiences over time? And we change over time. Like, my authentic self, maybe 10 years ago, I was a people pleaser. That was me, right? Maybe caused by certain things and certain beliefs, but that was me. I was behaving like myself at the time until I changed and until I worked on changing.
Yeah.
So we need to know ourselves. Know thyself.
All right. So I have to ask you, you're in Canada. What does c'est la vie mean?
That's life.
Oh, is that what it means?
Yeah.
Oh. See, I've been
literally
singing that all these years. There's a singer named Howard Jones who did a song, C'est la vie. That's just the way things go. And then that's life.
Yeah.
Oh, they do
that's
say
life.
That's life. They do say,
See?
okay.
See?
Let's see. She says, "Oh my God, my mom used to say that you can't teach an old dog new tricks." That's
Yeah.
not true because I no longer pee on the rug. I'm just
Oh
saying.
my God. Well, I
No.
mean, you're seriously, in all seriousness, Scott, you are a perfect example of that. Not that you're an old dog, but look at all those beautiful paintings behind you. You weren't doing that 10 years ago. That's something new
Yeah.
that you created, that you drew out of yourself.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that.
You're
And,
welcome.
but you're right. See, now here's the thing. If I believe I'm done growing, I've got no more purpose. Why am I here?
Mm.
If I believe I'm done learning, if I believe I've done everything and seen everything, and I know some people like, I've done it all, I've seen it all. I'm like, well, then you can move on because why are you still here? I mean, I don't mean that in a mean way. No,
I know what you mean.
I'm just saying, being brutally honest, get the hell off the planet. No, life is about the adventure, the exploration, and finding and doing new things. And the people who stop, the people who like, okay, I'm good right here. It doesn't mean let go of everything all the time because even if let's say you're in a loving, beautiful relationship, which I know are out there somewhere, I've read about them.
Yeah, me too.
yeah, I saw one on TV once. You might be in that, but you still want to continue to explore each other and make each other happy in new ways and make yourselves happy and do things like that. So there's always this constant learning and growing. So part of our authentic selves should be that childlike wonderment at everything, that I want to do new things and learn new things. And that's probably the greatest part of the human spirit is that adventure, that
And
I want to do
curiosity.
things, the curiosity. Think about the people that inspire us, Mary Kay, the people we've met, the people that are like, every time we talk to them, they're like, well, I'm going to go learn to do this. And I'm still learning to do that. Well, I think I'm going to start this new show. I'm going to do, it's like, holy shit. They just keep going. The
Yeah.
people who sit home every day and say, I've worked the same job for 20 years. I come home every night. I crack a beer. I watch a ball game. I go to sleep. I don't want to spend time with that.
But at the same time, and I'm not challenging you on this, but I think one thing is that if that's their authentic self and they're okay with that, then that's fine. That's
You're absolutely right.
that's
You're right.
their journey. We don't need to change them or preach at them. And I for one, I'm very guilty of trying to change people and thinking that I was doing them good, right? But
Yeah.
I've since learned that it's okay. It's their
It's got
journey.
to be their
That's
desire
fine.
to do that. It's got to be their desire.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. There's nothing wrong with just sitting and being comfortable and happy. I understand that. That's fine. I'm just thinking about myself, just because of my journey, which is a little different than other people's journeys.
Yeah.
I spent half my life screwing not only my life up, but the lives of my family, the lives of my friends, the lives of my community, and I have a debt that I'm paying back. It turns out to be the greatest gift you could ever be given. I've been given purpose. Most people never get that, and I'm so happy I got it. But I've been given purpose. I got to throw something. Nadia is happy. She came up with her own saying now. The path to happiness is through progression.
I love it.
This is
there we
my
go.
quote.
That's the quote.
There we go. Ellie's with us as well, saying hello.
Hi, Ellie. Ellie's in England, so I'm not sure what time it is there right now, but it's pretty late. What time is it there, Ellie?
Last I checked in England, it's 1943. No, I'm kidding. They're not that backward.
Hey, I was born in England. Did you know that?
No, I know that. I was just joking. Anyway, bringing us back around to the authenticity, because I'd really like to spend a little time on that. Yeah. Authenticity, I think, is something we grow, we change. My authentic 5-year-old is different than my authentic 21-year-old is different than my authentic 30-year-old and my authentic. And I think that, and that flexibility and adaptability is really kind of where you find the cool stuff, isn't it? Ellie's telling us it's 12:30 a.m.
Oh, it's already the next day.
It's tomorrow.
Isn't that great? We have tomorrow on the show. That's amazing.
Ellie, I know you're watching it, but you can't absorb it until tomorrow because this is today's show. I don't know how that all works. She's getting Thursday show on Friday. Who said you can't time travel? We are time traveling right now.
That's right.
We are existing in Friday right now.
Isn't that amazing? Thank you. I'm so happy Ellie made it.
Ellie, thank you for joining us. Bless you. But share your thoughts about what authenticity means to you guys as well. There's a quote I wanted to share. And this is by Brene Brown. I don't know if you've ever heard of Brene Brown, but
I have, yeah.
Yes. And this quote, I love this, the way that sums up authenticity. Authenticity is not something we have or don't have. It's a practice.
Oh, I love it.
A conscious choice of how we want to live. Authenticity is a collection of choices that we have to make each and every day. It's about the choice to show up and be real, the choice to be honest, the choice to let our true selves be seen. Not just to know our true selves, but to allow our true selves to be seen. Because things that we keep in secret don't have the same meaning as the things that we live out loud. So let yourself be seen. And I love that it's a practice. It's a practice in making choices that work for you, that are good for you, that enhance you, that move you forward, that do whatever you need to do for yourself. Not decisions that hold you back. And unfortunately, that's where, most people who are stuck, and I think you'll agree with me, Mary, is their decisions put them into stuckness. It wasn't somebody else who made them stuck. It was their decisions that put them into stuckness, and they continue to make decisions that keep them in stuckness.
Yeah, and I've heard it quite a bit, and especially lately, I think a lot of people's, we've got a downturn in the economy, and it triggers a lot of people, and I can understand that and empathize with them. And I think a lot of people will say things like, "Oh, you ruined my life." Well, okay.
Yeah.
And like I said, I have empathy for people that have gone through, crazy things, hurtful things, abusive things. And I think we can heal from that. Like, we can heal from that and take our power back from that trauma, right? So we're no longer saying you ruined my life. You're actually creating the life before you for the rest of your life, whatever time we all have left. And even if it's a day left, right? We still have the power to create our life and attract new people in our life. And I know Nadia talks about this a lot, about how the better we are vibrating, like the better, she can probably explain it better than me. The better we are vibrating, the better people that we attract into our lives. And again, this is not blaming the victim. This is just giving people a realization that they do in fact have power. With power comes responsibility. And with that responsibility, you are responsible for yourself and your future actions. Yeah.
Absolutely. Nadia says authenticity is living unapologetically. Chris is going to eat that right up. Yes, Nadia, yeah. Kick-ass sister. And should I create a quote on that?
Yes.
Write those things down.
Do it. Now, she's brilliant. She's brilliant.
You passed over a word there for a minute about victims. And I've seen more people who create victimizations within themselves more than anybody else has victimized them. People create victim mentality so that they don't have to change and they don't have to do anything. And they get to point fingers and say, I'm screwed up because of this. I have to believe that we have the power to change anything. I'm going to tell you right now, and I'm going to lay it out there for all you people. And this is my authentic self speaking. I have the power to change the weather. I have the power. Everybody out there is preaching powerlessness here or there. I'm powerless over alcohol and drugs. I'm powerless over my addiction. I'm powerless over food. I'm powerless over my gambling. I'm powerless over other people. That is wrong. I have all the power. I've got so much power I can control the weather. And you want me to explain how?
Yeah.
Okay. Me and my buddy are fishing. And we're sitting there and it's a beautiful day and we got the poles in the water and we're just reeling and we're having a good time. Everything's fine. All of a sudden, storm clouds come and it just starts a downpour. My buddy gets up, snaps his pole in half, throws it in the water, throws his tackle box in the water, gets in his truck, and he goes home bitching and moaning that a perfect day was ruined. I plant the pole in the ground because fish still eat even when it's raining. Let the bobber go out there in the water, and I get up and I start running back and forth on the grass and sliding in the mud like I'm at Woodstock. I changed the weather. I changed it from a bad event to an event that I wanted.
I love it.
Our perception and how we see things and what we do with things is all the power you ever need. I don't have to look at somebody and think they're an asshole and I got to tolerate them. I can look at them and say, they're exactly who they need to be. What am I supposed to learn from this person?
Yeah, that's a good
why
point.
am I standing in front? If I'm standing in front of a person, there's a reason I'm standing in front of them. If I can't figure it out, I've lost a lesson somewhere. You know, we have power over everything. I am so tired of this victim mentality. I am talking about everybody but children here, because children can
Yes.
be victimized. But as an adult,
Yeah.
we choose our poisons. We choose to stay victimized because we don't know we have the power to leave it.
Yeah,
And
that's why.
if I could spread any message in my life, it's you have the power to change anything you want to change. Stop being a victim. Stop.
Just stop
Listen,
it. Can we
stop
go
it.
back I want to go back to victim for a second, just before we go to Ellie's comment.
Yeah, go ahead. Go
So
back to the victim.
can you, because a lot of people don't know you, Scott, and don't know what you do. Talk about the kinds of people that you work with, and a little bit of background on that opinion, or a little bit of context on that opinion.
Well, what I work with is, everybody, I mean, most people do know that I'm a recovering alcoholic and addict. I don't identify myself as being an addict because I have a disease of addiction. If you have cancer, you don't call yourself cancer. Your name is Bob and you happen to have cancer. My name is Scott. I happen to be an addict. I happen to have an addiction problem. I have a drinking problem. I'm an alcoholic. But that's not how I identify myself anymore. I've been clean and sober for going on 20 years now. I had time before that. I lost my wife to addiction, almost lost my daughter to addiction. It's taken a lot in my life. And what I found was that I want to give back. I had a career in TV and radio in Philadelphia and stuff like that. I gave that up to come down here to Florida and work with people with addictions and mental health. And I started by working in treatment centers, and I started by helping and running groups, and I went all the way up to becoming program director and CEO of companies. And then I quit that so I can go out, because I'm not helping enough people one-on-one. I needed to train people out there in the world so we get more boots on the ground helping people every day. Our problem is not a war on drugs. Our problem is not fentanyl. Our problem is not alcohol. Our problem is apathy. Our problem is there's people with mental health issues. There's people with depression issues. There's people that are self-medicating with drugs and alcohol every day, and people walk past them and there's no caring. My mission today is to train as many people as possible. We are working with first responders, firefighters, rescue workers. We're working with treatment centers. We're working with unions now. We've just got into a big union, and we're going to be traveling all over the United States training people so that they can identify mental health and addiction issues in their families, in their workmates, and in their communities, and do something about it. 750,000 people in the last 2 decades have died from opiates. 700, almost 1 million people in the last 2 decades. But the increase is happening. In the next 2 decades, we will lose 3 million more if we don't do something about it. So that's what I do. And the truth is that the only way people are ever going to change those problems in their lives is if they believe they can do it.
Yeah.
This isn't a pill you take that makes you better. This is about saying, if I want a different life, my choices brought me to the edge of destruction. My choices can bring me anywhere else too. And that's what we're trying to teach people. You have the power. Make different choices. You'll get different results, and you can have any life you want to have. So that's what I do.
Amen to that.
That's what I do. And I'm sorry, I get passionate about it.
I love it.
But
I love it.
that's why the empowerment is so important to me. And that people do find their authentic selves, because I'll tell you what, nobody was born to be a strung out addict on the street.
Yeah.
Nobody was born to be sitting in prison for the rest of their life. Nobody was born to be walking through schools and shooting up schools and doing those things. Nobody was born into doing that. They ended up there because of a series of decisions that they made with no intervention from anybody around them. That's why.
Yeah.
Let's check these comments out. We got a couple.
Let's go to Ellie.
Ellie, that is so true. You have to be true to yourself as well as others. You can't blame others for our own bad choices. God bless you, Ellie.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And Nadia, when we act in a victim mentality, we're telling our brain that we have no control over our lives.
Ooh.
You are so right.
Brilliant point.
Oh, you are absolutely so right. And hey, we got our good friend Jeannie joining in.
Hi, Jeannie.
Hey, Jean. Thanks for joining in. I know she's just showing up, but thank you guys, because that really proves the point that we're trying to make. I mean, truth is, your authentic self probably can't be found without some resemblance of self-power, right? I mean, you got to be powerful enough to let it out and be it and to live who you are, don't you?
You most definitely do. And the more that we realize that we have power over our choices, and I know that sounds very, very strange, power over our choices. But that is what it is. We have the power to choose differently. We have the power to choose to behave differently. And in that, we attract many different types of situations and different people. I mean, you and I are an example of being connected through other people, like through Christopher and through Lynn, right?
Yeah.
And I definitely feel like we attracted each other. I really feel like the more good you put out into the world, the more it's like a beacon to bring more people in.
And it was so
that's the power.
It was so cool. We meant to have a quick 5-minute conversation the first time. And I think it was almost 3 hours long.
Yeah.
It's natural. Sometimes you just got to let go and let the energy flow, right?
Yeah, that's a really good point. Letting go and letting things happen, letting things in, even things like, so for me, one of the tools I use when I realize that I'm a little wound up too tight, it's like, just take a few minutes and daydream. Just put your mind in that mode of daydreaming, not while you're driving, obviously. Daydream, and that allows your brain to play. It allows your brain to let other things in that you know, in your wound up state, you wouldn't be letting in. And great ideas come from that.
Oh my God, yes. Daydreaming is beautiful. It also creates disparity for you. There, you can daydream and think, boy, I really want to do this. And then you look and you say, this is where I am. This is where I want to be. Okay, how do I get from here to there?
Yeah.
You know, you've created disparity because you've created a goal or something. Daydreaming is a beautiful thing. Daydreaming and then waking up and doing is even better.
Oh, I totally agree. I actually make notes from some of my daydreams, not all of them, but some of them, because it's something to explore.
In case people don't know you, you are the queen of sticky notes.
Oh my God.
Post-it notes sent all of their executives on vacation this year from her purchases. Oh my God. I think she wallpapered the whole house in Post-it notes.
Oh my God, you should see my kitchen. Yeah, I'm almost there.
But you know what? That's a beautiful thing. It's saying that everything I think has value. See, when people write things down, it's not just about keeping a note. It's about acknowledging this thought has value. I don't know what it is yet, but it might have value. It might turn out to be a turkey. You don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it just might be. But, you know, I know a lot of brilliant people, writers and creators and songwriters, especially, who sleep with a pad of paper next to their bed. And they wake up in the middle of the night and they just start free writing.
Yeah, I do.
You do that?
Yeah.
On Post-it notes, right?
No, actually, beside my bed is an actual notebook.
Oh, okay.
But I do have Post-it notes in the bathroom.
Oh, I love it.
Oh
I love
boy.
it. Nadia's asking me, what kind of intervention do you think would work? I guess it depends on what the situation is. We teach interventions, and we train people, and we certify people to be nationally certified as interventionists through a course that I wrote.
An
Um,
amazing course because I took it and I'm certified. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. And it's a different kind of intervention. It's most interventions have a lot of moving parts, lots of people, different. This is all about a one-on-one interaction at the moment when somebody needs it the most. But if you want to know more information, just message me anytime you'd like, and I can give you more information on that. Gene says, I never liked myself until I moved and started over. And sometimes we need to do that.
Yeah.
It's
Change environment.
it can't be the only thing you do, because people do geographical cures, but one of the problems they forget is I might move, but I take me with me.
That quote, everywhere you go, there you are.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. It's amazing. It's like it's kind of apropos that when you move, you usually pack baggage and take it with you. You always are bringing your baggage. Moving could be a jump start. It could be a part of the change, but it can't be all the change. You have to do a lot of inner work if you're trying to get out of a mess and into something new, don't you?
Yeah, I agree. Actually, when I was a kid and I'd been bullied for the early primary school years. And then my parents decided to move for grade 5. So I thought that everything would change. Like I thought um my life would be so different. And it wasn't, because that bully I had internalized and it came with me. So, yeah, the environment was a little bit better, but you're right. It can't be the only thing that you do. There's always inner work
Oh, there always.
that you get to do, that we get to do. It's a power. It's a privilege. It's an honor that we have. Like animals don't have that.
It's an adventure.
It's an
It's an exploration.
Yeah.
I was saying the other night, it's like, listen, you can book trips all around the world, and it's cool to see stuff. It's really cool to see stuff, but you're never going to have a greater, more exciting journey than the one you take inside yourself,
Mm.
where you start to discover things. You were just mentioning the paintings. 2 years ago, I never touched a paintbrush, never once touched it. I always thought about it, never once touched one. I finally said, what the hell, let me touch it. Now my house is covered with art, and I'm selling this art, and it's fun. And it's a great expression that I didn't even know I had inside of me. The same thing I talk about, I want to write. And I keep saying, well, I never get around to writing a book. But then I realized every day I go to work, I'm writing new training programs and new narratives and new things. I'm constantly writing, me to change it into a book. It's easy, but it's such a thrill to find out, wow, I didn't even know I would like this. It's like tasting new foods or going on a new ride or doing something like that. And just having fun with it. See, Ellie's saying, I moved 250 miles away to restart. It was hard work, but nearly 4 years sober and still learning about me.
Awesome. I love it.
God bless you.
Beautiful.
That is fantastic. Fantastic. Anybody that could beat the demons of alcohol and drugs, man, wow. Well, and mental health, it goes right hand in hand with that, because we all know, we've all seen how that can damage us too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this was supposed to be about authenticity, but the truth is, this is what authenticity is. It's about talking about what lights us up. It's about connecting with those things. It's about connecting with the things that are within us and doing them, and stop stifling yourself. And certainly stop blaming others for you not living the life you're supposed to be living. I'm going to repeat it again. It doesn't mean you're rude. It doesn't mean I'm me, screw everybody else. That's not it. That's not it. That's just being rude and crude. It's about, how can I use the best part of me to enhance the people around me?
Mm.
What can I do to make my world a little bit better?
I love that.
And I walk a very spiritual journey, but it's nowhere near religion. It's very near spiritual. Mm-hmm. There's a saying that we have, is about, religion is for people who are trying not to go to hell.
Yeah.
Spirituality is for people who've already been there.
Ooh. Wow, that's beautiful.
And so, it's like, for me, living my authentic self is to be of service to as many people as possible, to create as much laughter as possible, to create art and music, and to simply leave something in every interaction and every moment, leave something behind better than it was when I got there.
I love that. If we could all do that every day, imagine what kind of world it would be. Really?
It's incredible. It's incredible. And God bless the people of the Communication Workers of America Union that I got to spend some time with recently, that did some trainings with them. Great people. They're out there. These are people who are in airports getting bitched at every day. And they're in these classes to find out, how can I be a better service to those people? Wow. How can I make sure that their experience is better? Instead of saying, how do I shut those people down? How do I shut them up? Which is probably my old answer. Can we wear a gun? Can we pull it out every once in a while? Can we do that? No. They want to know how they can make the experience better, so that everybody comes out better on the other side of things. And it was such a beautiful thing to hear that,
Yeah, I love that. I love that. I love that way of thinking and that way. And once you start with that way of thinking, there is no going back. Like, you can't unsee that vision of helping people. You can't.
Absolutely not. I've got to ask you though, because you were in a life where you were trying to fill a role for your parents, fill a role for your husband, fill a role for your son, fill a role for the people you work for, and you were trying to do all of that stuff. And how much of that was you, and how much of you was buried under the responsibility of being for everyone else?
Yeah, a lot of me was buried, but I mean, it was my choice though, right? Like, I chose to be that I chose to be the people pleaser. I chose in some ways, not 100%. And I think I lost a part of me, and I think I needed to have an aspect of me be fed. And the more that I could do that for myself, the better I would be, even to serve those people or please those people. I mean, I chose to escape. Like, that was in the end, that was what I had to do. I needed to go down the route of initiating a divorce. And talk to the hand to some family. At that time, they ended up coming around, but in the first little while, it was really hard to really be branded the black sheep. Even though I love sheep, I love lambs. I mean, my name's Mary, of course, right?
So do I, with a little mint jelly.
So yeah, I did go through that, and it took me a long time to dig down and take some of that stuff off, to find the core of my authentic self, and zigzag to get to where I am now. Like, if you looked at it on a map, it would be like, woo, all this way. And there's still growth. There's still growth to go, and I'm happy to pursue that growth through. We talked about curiosity. We talked about connection. And compassion as well. I think my compassion, even for myself, has definitely grown in the last, I want to say, 10 years.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And, all that time that people spend in people pleasing, which is an odd term, because truth is, it's not about the other people. It's about how those other people see us. So we become like emotional vampires is what we are.
Yep.
We're like, I'm going to do all this for you, but the payback is you're going to like me, because I can't like myself. So you got to like me. And so it's the people pleasing is really, it's a very selfish act, because we want
approval,
that emotional return.
Yeah.
But,
approval seeking.
But I like what you said about the zigzaggy road. I mean, it's but you know what? You love walking in the woods, don't you? Along the paths and stuff. Are any of the paths you walk on in the woods dead straight?
One of them is, yeah, but not all of them. Yeah. Yeah.
But there's nothing around the corner. When your path is dead
Yeah.
straight, there's nothing around the corner. There's no surprises. There's no excitement. It's like driving a straight road with no signs, no trees, no nothing. I want bends and curves and ups and downs.
Yeah.
You know, I've always said it. People go to Disney World, they stand in line forever to go on a roller coaster. I've stood in line for 2 hours to go on a roller coaster. The monorail, I'll wait 10 minutes, but I'm not going to wait longer than that because the monorail is just a smooth, steady ride. The roller coaster takes me up, it takes me down, it gets me excited. Why don't I treat my life the same way? All those zigzags, it's the excitement, it's the fun. I'm going to tell you something, folks. I have lived a life where I knew exactly what was going to happen every day. I was going to wake up sick. I was going to drink until I got sicker. I was going to pass out, vomit, or end up in jail. I was going to wake up the next morning and do the same thing. And that was all. That was all my life was get up, drink, get sick, pass out, repeat. Having a life where there's no surprises sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know what's going to happen every day. Next week, I'm traveling. I'm bouncing between 4 different cities, and I almost forgot to book a hotel for one of the nights. We would have been sleeping in the car. Thank God I remembered last minute. But I'm like, the frantic thing about putting this trip together, and we got 3 different trainings on 3 different days. We're doing it's fantastic. It is fantastic. I'm meeting new people. I'm doing new things. It's great. You know what? Everybody's road is going to be bumpy. It's going to be up and down. It's going to go backwards and forwards and turn and twist. I pray you never have a straight road for any of you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I mean, where's the excitement in that? I want to be surprised. When you have little kids and the kid comes in, he does something brand new. It's the most beautiful thing in the world. If I never got to see anything brand new, it would suck. So anyway, that state's just something. When you said crooked road, I love that. It should be crooked. I mean, we got to kind of dig around and root around within ourselves to find out who we are and what we want.
Yeah.
And it should not be about, like I said, it should not be about throwing who I am in your face as much as sharing everything I've got with you that you need, that you want. You know, you don't have to take everything from me. I'm not shoving it down your face, but it's my opportunity that if I have good stuff in me to share it with others. And if bad stuff is spewing, I'm going to tell you something else. If bad stuff is spewing out of your mouth, you know, if you're being mean or being hurtful with words that you're saying, where do you think that's coming from? Bad thoughts don't come from a positive heart. So if those things are coming out of your mouth, you got to do some interior work because it's something bad inside. You got to figure that out. When you're working in a positive heart and everything else, bad things don't come out. They just don't spew it. They don't come out of nowhere. They really don't. So
good point.
You know, and that's part of authenticity is about finding. It's a constant. It's like the quote said. It's everyday choices that lead you either closer to who you are or further from who you are. Mm-hmm. It's stuff that either helps you grow or takes you backwards. It's stuff that creates growth or stunts your growth, you know? So, Mary Kay, what do you think about all this? Because it's been great today.
Oh, what a beautiful conversation. I love your perspective. Again, going back to, I wish everybody understood that they have the power to make the changes and to deal with the roots of the trauma or the hurt or whatever it is that causes them to be triggered by something. And it's always, you know, we've got to look back into ourselves and to figure out how to create a new life. So we've got a lot of C's here. We've got create, we've got curiosity, we've got connection.
That's right.
And I think that reminded me of something else. Creating instead of consuming. And I think that's exactly what you did, Scott. You stopped consumption in favor of creation, right? And look at all that you're creating and putting out into the world that didn't exist until you did it. Amazing.
It's when you start living in that mode of giving and not taking.
Yeah.
Now I will receive. I will receive when something's given to me. We actually, if somebody wants to do you a kindness, let me tell you something, people. Don't rob them of that kindness. Don't say no. Accept the kindness. Receive. I just don't take. Receive what people are willing to give you and willingly give of yourself, and it would be a beautiful world. Stop just taking. Stop just taking. Everybody becomes this emotional vampire that just sucking the life out of everybody around them. Stop it. Just receive. There's plenty of love out there for everybody. And one thing I want to mention, we're always talking about change. We got about 4 minutes left, but we're always talking about change, and anybody can change, and you have the power to change. I think it bears saying that changing your life isn't about uprooting every single thing, changing every single thing, changing your name from Bob Smith to Judy Finkel. It's not about all of that. If that's where you end up, that's where you end up. Change is about one decision or one moment. It's about doing just something a little differently. It's about maybe taking a negative and turning it into a positive, taking a bad action and turning it into a positive action or a good action. It's about minor changes. And then they build. I don't want people to think that what we're telling them is if you're not happy with your life, leave everything and start over.
Right.
Because that's like that all or nothing attitude. We don't want people to have that, right?
Yeah. We're in between, just like our show says.
In between. Minor changes. Minor changes. You know, if your relationship is stagnant, try minor changes within the relationship. Don't just walk away. You know, if you're at that point where it is time to move on, then you move on. But make minor changes, people. You'd be amazed. You know what? When we start changing, and I know we talked about this before, the simplest little things just create such great ripples in our lives, don't they?
Oh, God, yeah. Yeah, they do. Yeah.
You know,
ripples.
It doesn't have to be earth-shattering to create a movement within you that gets you going in the right direction. If you want to change your life and become a lawyer, you don't start by opening a law practice. You start by taking one class. One class. You want to be a doctor? You take one class. You know, you want to start a podcast. You don't start by trying to book Brad Pitt on your show. Although God bless you if you can.
He's next. He's our next guest.
Start by doing little mini shows and practicing, and you start little things. You want to play guitar? You learn 2 or 3 chords. You don't have to learn it. You don't have to be Jimi Hendrix the first day. You know, it just, everything's about minor changes. And then you'll start to get used to it, and you'll start to realize I can affect any change I want. I can do that. It's empowering, isn't it, when you start making those little changes?
Well, it's building blocks, and for me, I mean, I look at writing. You want to be a writer? Well, write one word, write one sentence, write an Instagram caption, write a blog. Like it builds upon itself, builds the confidence, builds the skill. Just got to start right on stickies.
You got to start. Our guest, Kellen, last week said she's a writer now. She is a writer. She is she does greeting cards. She does all these things, all to do with creativity and writing. And she was told she was no good when she first started.
Yeah.
Fred Astaire.
Me too.
You guys all know Fred Astaire? His first audition. The notes at his first audition. Can't sing, can't act, can barely dance. And now Fred Astaire is the epitome of all dancing, you know?
Amazing.
Hey, it's just the way things are, people. Find little ways to change your life, start changing them, and start moving more towards your authenticity and stop moving away from it. You know, start to be yourself. Amen. And, you know, be kind. Among all things, be kind, please. Any final thoughts before we sign off there?
Yeah. Get curious. Get clear. You do have the power. Those are my final thoughts.
That's right. You have the power. I want to thank Gene and Ellie and Nadia, of course, Lynn for always showing up for us, and Chris Roush, one of the true rock stars in this industry. I want to thank all of you guys for showing up, and all of you out there who have been listening and watching the rebroadcast. Hello to all of our friends across the pond in London. Happy Friday to you. It's so strange. Love to you all. Thanks for joining us. We'll catch you next week right here on The Life Between All or Nothing. God bless, guys.